All right, so now that we have a second floor, we gotta get up there. So we're gonna put in some stairs. We'll start with our stairs from first floor up to second floor, and then eventually we add some stairs to go from first floor down to the basement. When you draw the stairs, you're gonna start on the lower level, and then it's gonna go up to the top level by default. You can switch those options. So I'm gonna go down to level 1, and I'm gonna draw my stairs in right here. So I'm gonna go to the stair tool, and couple things before you start clicking around. Right now, over in the browser or the properties menu over here, it says my base level is level 1 and my top level is level 2, which I want. There are times like when you're going down to your a footer, or not a footer, but a basement building pad, you might have an offset. You might add a special level in for a landing, and you might have to change that. You might have a garage level you're putting in, but you want to look at what these levels are and if there's any offsets on those. In this case, we do not want any. So it knows to get from level 1 to level 2 with my ceiling height of 10 feet or level change of 10 feet, it wants to put in 18 risers. Okay, that's a 11 inch deep, and I think they're calculating it like 7 or something inches as a max rise. You could go in and tweak a couple things. Typically by code, you can't go over 8 inches. I don't think you really want to get into that at this point. You may want to change the width of your staircase though. So let's say I want to change this to a 4-foot staircase. That's going to be easier to do before we get started, and I can always tweak things around later on here. But let's say I want to start somewhere around here, and then it wants to go all the way to here. Now, if I get there, that means I'm going to be hitting the wall when I get up there. So I'm going to put a little landing in right about there, and then I'll click this point and hopefully get the rest of those steps in there. Oh, it wants to create those a little separately. So if I place those on here, I should be able to move this back and get rid of some of that excessive landing space that's in there. So that looks pretty good. Now you notice it is not lined up directly with my walls. I can use the align tool here to fix that. So I can go to align, and I can say, okay, I want this wall to stay there, and then I want to grab this staircase and pop that right against that wall. Now my framing kind of went in there. I'd rather have that towards the outside, right like that. If I needed to do that over here, I could. And then we'll hit the check mark and see what we get. That looks a little funky. We'll have to go back and edit that. But let's look in 3D. So we got a set of steps. Now we notice we can't get up there yet. We got to cut a hole here so that we can actually get up to this level. So that'll be in our next video. You can change some railing types out. So if you click a railing, there are some different railing types that are in there. If you want to change it out to something else, you are welcome to do that. You might decide you're getting rid of the railing on that side and you're only going to have it on the other side of the steps. That looks a little bit nicer in this case, but I still do need to go back in and clean this. So I can always select the set of steps. I can go to edit stairs, and I'll want to be in my level 1 plan for this, and we'll see if we can clean this up a little bit. Let's see if we can use the align tool on these guys. Push this over a little bit. If this, yeah, that looks pretty good. If you can't get it, the easiest thing to do, honestly, is just to delete the stairs and try again. So let's see if this looks any better. Go back to 3D, and that looks pretty nice. Again, I can change some things with the railing. Our next step then will be to pop in an opening here in the floor system. So again, if I want to change that railing, let's say I want, let's see, some kind of glass panel or something like that, I can do that. You can do some cool stuff with some of the different railing types that are in there. So that's it. Next video, we'll talk about cutting out that floor system.